Inside every single one of us, there is this hidden world, a wild, bustling ecosystem that has a huge say in everything from our mood to our immune system. Today, we're going to explore that inner universe, your gut microbiome, and a really cool science-backed plan to bring it back to its full power. So, just how big is this inner world we're talking about? Well, the number is trillions. Trillions of microbial cells. To put that into perspective, that's more than the number of stars in our galaxy, and they're all living right inside of you. This isn't just stuff passing through. It's a living, breathing part of us that is absolutely fundamental to our health. And if you want to understand the sheer density of this community, get this. Dr. Justin Sonnenburg from Stanford, who's one of the top experts in this field, points out that this ecosystem is so packed that almost half of our solid waste isn't leftover food. It's microbial life. I mean, that's just an astounding concentration of organisms. Okay, so what exactly is this inner ecosystem? Let's put a name to it and break it down. Here's the most important thing to get. The gut microbiome is not a passive passenger. Not at all. In fact, a lot of scientists now think of it as a newly discovered organ. It's a functional part of our biology that's constantly talking to our immune system, creating chemicals that literally influence our brain, and helping to regulate our metabolism. So keeping this organ healthy, well, it's absolutely critical. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Our modern way of life is actually causing some serious damage to this vital inner world. You could even say it's an ecosystem in crisis. And the difference is it's stark. It's like night and day. When scientists look at traditional populations like hunter-gatherers, they find these incredibly diverse and really robust microbiomes. But then you look at the average gut in the industrialized world, and it's depleted. It's lost a massive amount of its ancestral diversity, which leaves it way less resilient and way more prone to chronic inflammation. So what's the number one culprit here? Well, it's basically a famine, a fiber famine. I mean, just look at this gap. The Hadza, a hunter-gatherer group in Africa, they eat up to 150 grams of fiber a day. The average American, a measly 15 grams. That's a tenfold difference. We are literally starving the very microbes that evolved over millennia to keep us healthy. This really dire situation is what led to a landmark study at Stanford University. Researchers wanted to answer a pretty simple question. Can we actually repair this damage with what we eat? This was the big question on the table. Should we be focused on feeding the microbes we already have with more fiber? Or do we need to bring in some new recruits, introduce new microbes into the system? To figure it out, they designed this brilliant dietary showdown. The setup was really simple but super elegant. They took two groups of healthy adults. They told group 1 to just dramatically ramp up their plant fiber intake, and they told group 2 to load up on fermented foods, things like yogurt, kimchi, kefir. Then the scientists just sat back and tracked what happened, measuring changes in their gut diversity and some really key inflammatory markers. Now, the hypothesis going in seemed pretty obvious, right? Fiber is what the gut needs, so of course the fiber group would see the biggest benefits. But that's not what happened. Not at all. The results that came back completely upended what they thought they knew. As Dr. Sonnenburg himself described it, the study revealed something really profound about the true fragile state of the modern gut. And the clear winner was the fermented food group. It wasn't even close. They saw a significant increase in their microbiome diversity, and they saw a remarkable decrease in 19 different inflammatory markers. So here's the key insight. Fermented foods don't just feed the microbes you already have. They actively introduce new beneficial species. They're basically repopulating a depleted ecosystem. So what about the fiber group? Okay, this is where it gets really nuanced and fascinating. The high-fiber diet, well, it didn't produce a clear benefit for everyone. It turns out its success depended entirely on how diverse a person's microbiome was at the very beginning. If you already had a rich, thriving ecosystem, more fiber was great. But if your gut was already depleted, it just didn't have the microbial machinery to break down all that new fiber. It's like delivering tons of raw materials to a factory that's missing half its workers. Okay, so this brings us to the most important part, right? The so what? How can we actually use the science to rewild our own gut? This amazing research gives us a simple 3-step plan. Step 1, and this is the most important place to start, add fermented foods. This is your number one tool for boosting diversity and lowering inflammation. We're talking yogurt, kefir, kimchi. Step 2, after you've started repopulating, then you diversify your fiber. Don't just eat more broccoli, eat a wide variety of different plants to feed the new community you're building. And finally, step 3, prioritize whole foods. Try to avoid processed stuff, especially things with emulsifiers and artificial sweeteners that can actually damage your gut lining. Ultimately, this completely reframes how we should think about what we eat. Every meal isn't just for you. It's a meal for the trillions of tiny partners that are absolutely essential to your health. So the next time you sit down to eat, it's worth asking yourself, what are you feeding the trillions inside you?